live now.
And it happens, man.
Yeah.
Technology.
Yeah. Yeah. Not fun. Not fun. So while we wait, what is our do we have an overarching theme tonight?
Yeah, we're gonna be talking about scouting. That's kind of what we had planned the first time around, and he wasn't able to make it. So this time he's here shortly, and we'll be talking about scouting.
So is he gonna? How's he gonna contact you? How's that gonna go down?
I'm messaging him on Google Hangouts. So once he's on, then I'll just add him to this video call we got going.
Okay.
Yep, and then we'll be able to start with the main podcast.
So, for those of you that don't know who Dr. Duck is, Jordan, you want to give just a little bit of background because I don't know how many people know who he is.
All right, yeah. Dr. Duck is a duck hunter, obviously from I believe it's Texas. Is well, he hunts all over the place, but I think he hunts in Arkansas as well. But he's from Texas, and he kind of, at least where I heard about him, was he did some feature films with Yeti and Sitka, and he did one last year called, or I think that was 2 years ago, called Dr. Duck. And then this previous season, he did one that was called Duck Trip. And yeah, so I think that's where he gets his claim from fame. I know he's been hunting forever, been doing social media for a while. And yeah, so yeah, pretty cool guy. Got an awesome beard.
The first time I ever heard about him was the Dr. Duck video. And I'm pretty sure that one was filmed in Arkansas. Because, and I want to ask him about this, but down there they've got some areas where you can't enter the marsh until a certain time. So on opening day, all the boats get lined up, and then it's just like a race. And I'm pretty sure I couldn't find that video, but I'm pretty sure that first Dr. Duck video involved that. Am I mistaken?
Yeah, I think at least it was in flooded timber. I'm not sure if it was Arkansas or if they have flooded timber in some of the northeastern parts of Texas, but yeah, it's definitely a timber hunt. And one of the, well, I think, yeah, Dr. Duck. No, we're thinking of a different video. Yeah, he has another video filmed in flooded timber. I think Dr. Duck was just in a marsh.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the one you're thinking of is called like 25 Horses or something like that, and they talk a lot about the boats and how people rig them up to get out to the spot faster.
Is he involved in that video?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
But their trip video, what's that one called?
It's
Duck Trip?
Yeah, it's just Duck Trip.
That is a really, the harsh weather makes that video so entertaining.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, and then just the travel and unique places they get to go along the way was pretty cool.
So, guys, this is the first time that we've had the Duck Gun podcast here on Freelance Duck Hunting. So, those of you that aren't aware of it, let me tell you what's going on. Jordan and I have teamed up. Well, Jordan started a podcast and called it Duck Gun Podcast. And I thought they were wildly entertaining. So, I was a guest on one of the first few, and I was there every week. And so Jordan and I got talking, and we decided to kind of just combine forces and do this Duck Gun podcast together. So you can listen to all the ones we've done and all the ones that we do on iTunes, Google Play, and you can listen to them in your car or whatever. So we're trying to have every Tuesday at 6:00, we're going to have these podcasts. And then again, if you miss them, they'll be on iTunes. And I personally, if I was consuming these, I would do it in the car. I would probably, because it's a long time. Most people don't hang out for an entire hour. So I would say definitely look for those. But every single Tuesday at 6:00 Central, we're going to alternate between the Duck Gun Chronicles YouTube channel and Freelance channel to host these. So make sure that you subscribe to Duck Gun Chronicles if you want to get notifications of them. So we're going to do 4 every month. 2 times we're going to have guests, and then 2 times we're just going to do kind of open forum. Not quite sure what we're going to talk about, but this is actually the 8th episode of Duck Gun Chronicles. I'm sorry, of Duck Gun Podcast. So if you want to get caught up, I know, let's see, the guests, you had Flair on there one time. You had somewhere in Wisconsin. Mid Valley Mercenaries. Am I missing anyone? Oh, we had
Um,
who did we have last week?
Passion of Pursuit.
Passion
Yep.
of Pursuit.
Uh, did you say Virginia Outdoors Unlimited?
Virginia's the first one. Virginia Outdoors. So if you guys are wanting to fill your off-season time, and once we get rolling in season, we're still going to be doing these too. Make sure that you check these out on the podcast when you're driving or whatever, because I think the content is worth it. I went back just yesterday and listened to one just while I was doing work on some stuff on my computer, just to kind of hear how it sounded and everything. And I was happy with it. I thought the sound quality was pretty good, and I was happy with how it came across on iTunes. Is where I listened to it.
Yep, and we have there's some episodes in the past where I had a small amount of issues, but growing pains, just getting started, so always improving the quality. And we got a long list of guests that we're gonna have on. Pretty much we're scheduled all the way up through May. And if I can just remember off the top of my head who we got, or I think I can just pull up the list.
Yeah. And I actually just heard back from Outdoor Limits, which a lot of people have been requesting him, and I don't have anything nailed down, but we are talking to Josh Outdoor Limits for that May 29th date.
Yeah, May 29th.
So hopefully we can add him in the list, because I know that people have been asking, ever since I've been doing live streams, people have been asking me to do some kind of collab with Kansas Fisherman at first, now Outdoor Limits, and we've never ever done anything together. So hopefully we'll get that pulled off as well. I'm hoping that he agrees. I think he probably will.
Yeah, and we got Dr. Duck tonight. We got High Prairie Outdoors, another YouTuber from Nebraska, on next week, and then we got the following week Barton Ramsey from Southern Oak Kennels and the Cornerstone Gun Dog Academy. The week after that, we got Northern Flights, the host of Northern Flights, John Lewis. And then we're going to do a couple where we just kind of spitball, maybe go over some tips and strategies and stuff like that. Then we'll go back to the guests, and that'll kind of be our schedule, rotating between the two. And we got 60-day TV. Then we got the Foul Life TV. Then going back to, a couple more episodes where we just spitball again and go over tips and strategies, and then possibly Outdoor Limits, having Josh on, and then on a weekend somewhere in there we're going to be able to get Quack Addicts. So we got a big lineup, big plans. Gonna put out some good content over the off season for you guys.
Yeah, and if you don't get to them all, I mean, we're doing enough that we're doing 4 a month that you should, you can pretty much still get in there with all the waterfowl content, and even throughout the season. And we're gonna be asking lots of different guests. That's kind of the goal that Jordan came up with, and I really like it. So we have a whole list of people we want to try to invite. I would really like to get on here Fouled Reality. Have you tried to contact them at all?
No, they're on my list that I need to contact. Yeah, definitely I agree with you on that one. We should get them on here. Definitely one of the best kind of like well-produced TV shows on YouTube, if not probably the best produced TV show on YouTube.
It's so hard to figure out like when they're posting stuff, what they're doing. Because I know they actually make videos for who is it?
Is it Realtree?
I wish there was a more centralized location I could really consume their content a little bit more, because I can't figure out when they're posting, when they're not. But everything they do is great. They do they do some public stuff too. When I see like more of those high profile guys doing public land stuff, that's what I'm most interested in.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Because I know they did one south, about 2 hours south of me, that I love, where it was all iced up, and they got into this spot. I know where the spot is. I've never hunted it, and they were open up ice with the long tail shaft, and it's a great video. Those guys seem really, really down to earth and cool.
Yep.
So if you're just hopping on here, we were waiting for Dr. Duck. We knew he was going to be a little bit late due to some baseball obligations. I guess he's huge into coaching baseball, right?
Yeah, I believe it's a high school team, but I was talking to him on Saturday, helping him get set up on the software so we could go into the podcast without any glitches. But yeah, he he coaches a high school team, and apparently they're doing pretty good this year. So
Great.
Yep.
So did you play baseball or any athletics at all?
Um, I played golf, the most athletic sport there is.
Are you good at golf?
I went to when I was a senior. I qualified for state with my team, but I haven't really picked up the sticks that often since then. So it depends who you compare me to. Like the average Joe probably beat him, but the average high school player or
So you're
a good high school player, they'd
You
probably
can go
beat
out and
me.
not embarrass yourself.
Yeah.
I cannot go out and not.
How about you? Any athletics?
I went out golfing one time, like in the last 3 years, and I took Dan out. And
Mm.
I'm terrible. It's like if I can shoot, if I on 9 holes, if I can shoot into the 40s, I feel really happy. Like if I'm at a 49, even if I'm like at mid 50s at this point in my life, I'm like, okay, not bad, not bad. I took Dan and Nevin and I went out, and oh my gosh, I wish that I had taken my camera. I have never seen a more poor display of golfing than what Dan did. It was
Wow.
so bad. It came down to the last hole, and he and Nevin, I mean, my son Nevin's literally only golfed twice in his life, and he's 13. And him and Dan were in, and you know how hard golf is. I mean, it's hard sport.
Yeah.
And so Nevin and Dan were in this like heated competition. I actually shot really well. I shot like a 46 on 9, which for me is most, now keep in mind, most of these holes were par 3, but still, for me, that's really good because I suck. But Nevin and Dan come to the last hole and they're tied. And there's a big lake that you have to hit across. Well, both of them know that there is no way that they are going to hit it across this lake, right? So they decide they're going to hit it around the lake and like on the bridge, like the, if you drive your cart around.
Yep.
And that was right up against this highway. And so Dan hits the best shot of the entire day, except what would it be? Sliced it, hooked it. He hooked it onto this freeway, and I just saw it disappear onto the freeway. I don't know if he hit anyone or not, but I think it ended up Dan got a 16 on the hole, and Nevin got a 17, and Dan beat him.
Wow.
It was high drama. Let me tell you.
Oh wow. Yeah.
It was so funny though. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Yeah, that's the problem with playing. I played a lot of golf when I was younger, playing high school golf. Like it's ruined me. If like I don't shoot in the 30s, I'm just upset. So I don't shoot in the 30s anymore. So I just can't even play.
Oh man, it's so expensive. Oh my gosh. Talk about a rich man's sport. Oh my lord.
Yeah, it costs probably about shooting a box of heavy shot, right?
Well, more than that. I mean, around here, you go to like a decent course that's like, oh, this is a pretty good course. You're talking $75.
Oh yeah. Oh wow. Yeah. I guess we might have more courses around here because it's not that expensive. But I walk too. I don't know if you take a cart. I'll walk and usually just play.
Yeah, I don't really take a cart, but I mean, I don't hardly. I maybe go like once every 5 years. The really crappy, terrible courses around here are like, with cart, you're going to talk about $26, $27.
Gotcha.
We should probably get back to wire phone. So have you heard from him at all? Or are we?
Still hanging on, wait for a response.
That's fine. So anyway, if you guys have any questions or anything, I have personally decided to not post waterfowl videos for a while because the ones that I've been posting have done so poorly that I feel like that it's not worth my. I feel like that I'm wasting good ideas on a time where no one's watching them. So I'm not going to be posting any waterfowl videos for a while. I know Jordan's still cranking them out over there at Duck Gun Chronicles, so make sure you go over there and check his stuff out.
Thanks. Yeah, I'll probably still try to do just once a week. I won't try to do anything like crazy, but once a week, just kind of keep it going. Keep myself in the mindset of posting. What's up, B-Man Outdoors? Think I'm getting a message from him.
Now, hang on here, guys. We get Dr. Duck in here.
Okay. He's just telling me he's still on the way, but he's not here yet.
That's all right.
Yep. So yeah.
That's what they used to say.
So you used to pitch baseball?
Yeah. High school. I played at a small college.
Nice.
Small college. It was fun.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, baseball was my passion before hunting. So I really didn't get hardcore into hunting until I got out, really got my mind out of baseball, because with baseball, it was pretty much fall, not winter, but fall, spring, summer. And I mean, in practice would start February. So I would have a small window there where I would do some hunting, but that was kind of my identity, and where my passion was baseball up until 93, 94. About my I didn't play my senior year of college. And that's when I really dove into waterfowl hunting as like my passion, you know.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Well, we got like 20 people in here, guys. Make sure to hit that like button. We're at 5 right now. 20 people. Math doesn't add up.
You know, when I first heard that likes did nothing to actually boost the algorithm on YouTube, and then recently I heard actually employee at YouTube say that it is one of the measures that kind of does boost your video a little bit. But I was under the impression that it did nothing. Whoever said that was uninformed. It does a little bit.
Yeah.
Boost the algorithm.
Yeah.
I don't think it does very much. But. Chant says, what do you think the white-winged mallard was hybridized? That's a great word. I don't know if it's a real word, but I like it. Hybridized with, or do you think it's just a Paul-made mallard? I think that it was a mix with a farm duck. What I think.
Yeah, I agree.
I got to looking it up online, and I saw one that they said was a mix with the farm duck that looked very, very, very similar. So I guess the better question is that a local duck that's just, cruising the area, or is that an offspring that actually got into the migration? I hope it's just a local duck. If it's a local duck, we could see it next year, because I'd like to take it. If it's actually got in the migration, then it's probably dead. So, what do you think?
It's hard to say. It probably was in the migration. But I guess I'm not sure if migrating ducks come back to the same spot every year or not. So
I don't know. Both times we saw it, it was by itself too. That's another piece of information to add into it. The first time we saw it, and I want everyone here. I want to vote. Can you put up votes? I saw you do that.
Oh, I did. I did. What's it called?
Well, anyway, you don't have to. But I'm curious. Here's the situation that I didn't fully explain on the video that happened, and I really, really want everyone's opinion and be totally honest. So, we saw Moby, the white-winged duck. Aiden and I had already shot our limit, and Fumbles was there, and it was during the time where he was yet to be cleared to hunt because he had the pace put in. Now, this duck came and it landed right in our decoys, and it sat there for probably 20, 25 seconds. And so this whisper conversation breaks out of, do we kill this duck? Because we were both at our limits. But Fumbles, he's has a license, all that stuff. So technically, if we would have killed that duck, it would have been illegal. No one would have known, and we just would have said it was, my dad's limit, and going back on, I guess hybrids aren't even counted towards your regular limit.
Yeah, that's what I've always heard too, that hybrids don't count. So even though it's a mallard hybrid, and I asked this in a forum before, if it's a hybrid, does it count towards, like, let's say it's a pintail mallard hybrid, does it count towards your pintail limit or your mallard limit? And the answer that I got was that it just counts towards your duck limit. So you could still shoot 4 mallards, 1 pintail, and have your 1 hybrid.
Yes. So we should have killed it. Absolutely, we should have killed it. But the question is, I want you guys to answer on, is that our dilemma in our minds was, do we make a slight little illegal kill, put it under Fumblemit's limit, no one ever knows, and now we've got this probably once in a lifetime duck, or do we not? Which is what we chose. We ultimately just sat there. It's like, at one point in time, I had my gun. I was like, oh, are we gonna kill it? What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? We decided not to kill it. But I mean, nobody ever would have found out had we killed that thing and just put it towards Fumble's limit. But I'm actually, in hindsight, I'm glad that we didn't, because number one, I think you always want to take the ethical route. if you're worried, like, because that's we thought it was technically illegal. Number two, if we would have killed it, we wouldn't have we wouldn't not have aired it, because I mean, it would have been obvious that I probably wouldn't have aired the fact that we decided to do something illegal. And I love the whole Moby theme that came out from that, how we saw him another time. And so I'm glad we didn't, but I want to know, would you guys have killed it and put it towards your buddy's limit, or would you have done with it? I want to see that.
Can you make me a mallard? Can you make me a mod so I can, or an admin, whatever it's called, so I can post the link?
Can I? That's a good question. I can. I know that it's possible. I don't know that I remember how to do it right now. So,
gotcha. I got the straw pool made.
Okay. Let me think about how that. I find I can always find that where I add admins, but
I think you
I never remember where it is.
What if I like put in a message and there's the 3 dots next to my name? So
right.
I just put, yeah, but you'll have to click on the 3 dots to the far right.
Oh wow. You have officially made me look like a fool in front of everyone here.
That was just a lucky guess.
How about you just click on those dots right there? You know, those 3 dots?
All right, guys, there's the straw pool in the comments. Just go ahead and click on that, and we'll show the results here in a little bit.
Yeah, so click that and tell me what you guys would have done. Fingers crossed we'll still see Moby. So the second time we saw Moby, I had shot my limit, and Fumbles came in because it was a little cold. So he rolled in, and Moby gave us a look, gave us a pass, but did not come within shooting range. But we saw where he went down out in the marsh. So that's where the conversation about Moby came on and all of that. So hey, Cody.
Yeah, I felt bad for you when you guys didn't shoot it and it was a hybrid.
Yeah, that's the worst part of it, is that we didn't shoot it and it was legal to do so. It sat there in the decoys just in sluice range for 20, 30 seconds.
So the real question is, would you have mounted it, or just ate it for dinner?
I think you have to mount that dove.
Yeah.
I am not into mounting birds anymore. I went through a time where I really wanted to mount birds, and I've got a goose mounted. At one point in time, the ringneck duck was my absolute favorite, and I had one of those mounted. I've got a prairie chicken mounted, and I've got a big 6-pound bass I caught in Nebraska mounted.
This would probably look pretty good right behind you right now.
Oh, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Where you got them at?
Yeah. It was just so expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got so many to-do lists. It would probably be in someone's freezer right now.
Yeah.
Waiting to be mounted. Like, I shot a beautiful canvas back that I had in a freezer waiting to be mounted that I never ended up getting mounted. I shot 2 or 3 3 canvas backs in my life. We just don't hardly ever. I go years and years without even seeing one.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think I've seen one, and that's it. And I'm not even positive that I saw it. I was on a hunt by myself. I mean, it's hard to tell if it's a canvasback or a redhead. And I had a bird fly right over my shoulder, and instead of reaching for my gun and taking the shot, I reached for my call and called and tried to get a better shot on him. But he just kept going. He didn't even turn at all. So I probably should have just grabbed my gun and would have had, a 20-yard shot. He was going fast, but I would have had a chance at him.
Yeah. I always go for the call in that situation.
Yeah, it just feels bad in hindsight when you're like, well, if I would have shot, I mean, in 3 shots, there's just no way that you don't take him down. But I'd been having such good success decoying in birds recently that my first instinct was just to call and get them to decoy. But I don't know if canvasbacks or redheads decoy in as well as mallards or not.
I don't know. I know redheads don't. I don't know about I imagine they probably don't, because every diver I have experience with, every diver that I have experience with doesn't listen to the calls much. I have had some luck with Goldeneye responding to actual decoys, And I think they will respond some to decoys, but they don't ever respond to calls from what I've seen.
Hmm. So yeah, do you have many divers come during the regular season? And like my experience, it seems that as soon as duck season's over and it's late goose season, in like January, maybe like mid January, I see a bunch of divers that I wasn't seeing like in the same spots I duck hunt, and all I see is mallards all year. And then late season comes in for geese, and now we got all these divers that weren't there before. So I don't know if that's
What
just
kind of
like
divers are you seeing?
I mean, just everything, from Buffy's, hooded mergansers, the common merganser, goldeneye, just across the board,
You
a
seeing
lot of
redheads?
divers.
You seeing redheads and ringnecks and scop during that time?
No, we don't see much of those at all in my area.
Yeah. So we get in through October, we get a push of redheads and some ringnecks, and that's about anymore. That's about the main divers we see are redheads and ringnecks, and they kind of push through October and November, and then we hardly see any divers at all until now. Technically, mergansers aren't divers; they're just mergansers.
They're not
So
divers.
no, they're mergansers, which is not, they're not actually a duck.
What about a hooded merganser?
No, it's not. And people call them divers, but they're not. They're just mergansers.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's a common mistake, and that's typically like people that I hunt call them divers, but they're not. So when it gets really cold, then we get the hooded mergansers, the common mergansers, and the golden eye. But we don't get that's kind of the split. I think golden eye and mergansers must winter or summer clear up north is my assumption.
Hmm.
I wish that I would love to. I mean, if we had a lot of redheads, and like I haven't shot a scop or seen scop forever, but if we had scop, redhead, and goldeneye, I would target them on big lakes if I thought that I could.
Hmm. Do the scalps have like a pintail or no? Or like
No.
what am I thinking that has one of those?
As far as a diver,
No, just a duck in general. I mean, it's not a
widgeon,
pintail. A what?
widgeon, widgeon.
Oh, okay.
They've got a little tiny. If you look on what video was it? The video that Dan gets lost in broad daylight, where I shoot the decoy by mistake. We shoot a really beautiful widgeon in that one that has a little tiny pin. We don't hardly ever get widgeon that are plumed out enough to actually have those little tiny pins, but a fully plumed out widgeon to me is about the most beautiful exotic looking duck that we have.
Hmm. Hmm.
But that I think that's what you think.
Gotcha.
But in a given year, I probably I shot 2 or 3 ringneck this year, golden shot a couple redhead, and that's really about it. I wish we got more of them.
Hmm. See, in my area, the only things I shot were mallards, wood ducks, some merganser, hooded and common mergansers, and then blue and green winged teal. But I think that's it. I'm trying to think. I don't think I shot anything else.
Yeah. What's the list again?
Hooded mergansers and common mergansers, wood ducks, mallards, green and blue winged teal.
No shovelers.
We shot one hinge shoveler, but I don't think it was me.
Gadwall and widgeon. None of those either.
None of those. Nope. I never even saw one.
Oh. There are some years, like I had a year where I shot 15. In fact, the same hole that we pounded the mallards in this year, I had a year where I did every bit as well in that hole, except it was shovelers, gadwalls, basically shovelers and gadwalls. So some years we get I shot 15 shovelers that year, which is about the record for between my dad and I. But some years we see quite a few gadwalls and shovelers, and then some we don't. This year we saw more gadwalls than we had. Now widgeon, we go some years we don't hardly see them at all. But there was way this year we had way more pintail, widgeon, and gadwall than we had the previous several years. But we've been in an extremely strange weather cycle because we had a massive drought about about 5 years ago. We had a massive drought, and then 4 years ago was a little bit of a drought, and then when we started FDH season 1 and 2, we had come out of the drought, but then we had just such warm winters. We're not like Michigan, Wisconsin, none of those places were freezing up at all. So nothing was pushed down. This is the first season in 5 years that's been a normal that's been a normal water amount and normal um, weather, normal temperatures. The first one
Hmm.
in 5 years.
I'm pretty sure it was colder than normal for us earlier this year because I'm trying to think. I think it was almost the beginning of November we had our first complete freeze over. Like I was out on a hunt and went out in my canoe and I had to break ice with my canoe to get back to the boat launch, and that was early November.
Yeah. Yeah, there are some time now. I'm wondering. I don't know what your temperature is like compared to ours in Indiana. Jordan hunts out of Indiana. I hunt out of Kansas. And if you're just popping in, this is Duck Gun podcast. Jordan's from Duck Gun Chronicles. If you haven't seen his channel, make sure you go over there and subscribe, because this podcast here is going to be 1 week here at Freelance, 1 week over at Duck Gun Chronicles. You can see them or you can hear them on iTunes. This is episode number 10. So if you want to hear what we've done in the first 10 episodes, a lot of which have just been only Jordan, check it out on iTunes or Google Play. But anyway, I don't know what the different temperatures are like. You guys are more north than us, so I would assume, but not much, not a great deal more north.
Yeah, I guess I'm like at the very northern part of the state, and at the coldest this year during duck season was I think the last week of December, and I mean it was negative temperatures, and we got with wind chills. The coldest time I think I went on was negative 18 degrees, and that was cold.
That's wind chill or regular temperature?
No, that's with the wind chill.
Okay.
So I think it was negative like 3, -5, but the wind chill -8. And we had like 3 days where it went, pretty similar to that.
Yeah. Yeah, my dad mentioned we had a lot more mallards in the area in November this year than normal. I mean, if we're going to shoot a lot of mallards, it's typically December and January. But this year, the bulk of the mallards we shot were in November. And I'm still trying to figure out whether we had just a little tiny section that was fantastic, because we've talked about it before. When we were pounding those mallards in November, I think I shot 4 limits within 7 days. And is that intro? Oh, I see what that is. Someone subscribers. I'm sorry, I got confused by something I saw. But we shot like 4 mallard limits in 7 days. And in November of mallards in November, that just never happens. But at the same time, there was lots of other people complaining about no ducks around. So I'm trying to figure out whether we just got this huge push of mallards that swept through, or whether we just found a little area where they were just completely pocketed and they didn't want to leave it, because the place we were hunting gets very little pressure compared to the other marshes around there. So I'm not sure, but I hope it happens again.
Yeah, maybe if this is the consistent weather pattern that you'll have, the same kind of mallards, every season in that time frame.
I hope so. I'm nervous about the fact that I'm posting the videos of that place. When Aiden and I had our first really good hunt, and the hunt's called This Is Our Chapel, and I actually posted that on Patreon at first, because I told him I said to him, I am not going to post videos from this spot, because that spot is very, very sacred to me, for multiple reasons. It's kind of the first place I ever found where I was successful duck hunting away from my dad. I mean, before it was always he was kind of engineering everything, and these were our local spots, and this was kind of the area that I went off on my own because I went to college, and it was kind of like my first place that I found that was mine, where I was kind of like, okay, I can find places on my own, I can scout, that type of thing. And it's also, I hunted so much there just on solo hunts during a time where I was kind of redeeming my life. That place is extremely special to me. And if you go a mile in any direction, you have hunters everywhere. And for some reason, that little spot, it's hard. It's not hard to get to, but there's a little secret trail that goes in there. You can't drive into it. And most of those hunts, there was no one else on the entire pool. And this is not a small pool. So I was determined I was not going to post videos from there after the first hunt. But I mean, it was like limit after limit after limit. I'm like debating and talking to my dad. And finally I'm like, okay, I'm gonna roll the dice and I'm gonna do it. But if all of a sudden in the next few years that place is seeing 3 or 4 groups every time I go out, I don't know.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're making content, so you don't want to, have hunts where you're not able to, display that in your content. Yeah.
Yeah, I have been the subject of a lot of conversation on the local forums, and um, a lot of people, well, I wouldn't say a lot of people. I'd say I've got more support than I have negative. But there's a group of people in Kansas that are very much negative towards what I'm doing and Outdoor Limits are doing. And for some reason it's like some of the top the some of the top waterfowl channels are out of Kansas. I'm not sure why that's happening, but you look Bobby Guy Films, Outdoor Limits, myself, and so there's a lot of talk, a lot of interesting conversation on duck hunting chat and refuge forums about posting these videos from public land and what people think it's going to do. And there's some real demonstrative people who are extremely negative towards what we're doing. And if you guys, it's really, honestly, it's really interesting reading. If you go to duckhuntingchat.com or refugeforums.com and you go to the Kansas State forums and just look through, most of these conversations happened, I think, November, December. There's one thread that people are just shredding Bobby Guy. And then there's another one that's more about freelance duck hunting. And it's just doom and gloom to what we're doing, basically.
So you guys all get your own specific forums.
Well, I don't know. It's kind of how it worked out because like I said, there's one thread that people just start railing on Bobby Guy, and I talked to him off air, and I was kind of like, "Don't worry about it." I mean, and it kind of publicity is good publicity. And then there's another one where they're more talking about me on there, and it's really interesting reading though. And so I kind of like, I'm nervous. I am nervous. If all of a sudden this place where we shot all these mileage this year becomes flooded, and by flooded with people, I just mean 2 or 3 other groups on a hunt. It doesn't have to be flooded with people because we've had that place pretty much all to ourselves. I mean,
Yeah.
there's been a couple times where there's one, it's like a mile long. And if you got one other guy on there, it's nothing. So if it's crowded on there is 3 groups and it's a mile long.
Oh wow.
If all of a sudden that disappears, I may have a lot of regret. So it's like at some point I decided that I was just going to go all in with what I was doing. And
Yeah.
posting from that place that many times was kind of the signal that, hey, I'm going all in and I'm going to let the chips fall where they may. And I certainly hope that I don't regret it.
Yeah.
Because that place is special to my heart, I'll tell you.
Yeah. Lucky for me, I think I'm the only YouTuber from Indiana. So
You don't think of duck hunting with Indiana.
what was that?
You don't really think of duck hunting when you think of Indiana.
No, I don't even know what you think of when you think of Indiana, but it's not duck
Usually,
hunting.
I think of basketball.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Good old Bobby Knight, like we were talking about the other day.
Yeah. Good old Bobby.
Yep. Well,
Oh, dude, this is going to be a long stream. We're at 48 minutes and he's not showing
yep. Yeah.
the second time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a limit to me where we shut it. Just out of principle, honestly.
Yep. So I guess we got some questions about turkey hunting if we want to switch gears here a little bit. Yeah, I got plans to turkey hunt. I shot my first turkey last year, shot it with a bow, and yeah, got plans to do it again. Went with my buddy, used a lot of his gear, so I got my own decoys this year. I got my own call. You guys don't want to hear me call yet. Hopefully I can figure that out before season. I got one of like the diaphragm mouth calls. Watching YouTube videos, trying to figure that out. And but yeah, hopefully I can do it. I got some, big plans for that. Hopefully it all turns out well. You got plans for turkey season, Freelance?
I do. At one point in time, I called myself the world's worst turkey hunter. That was what I was.
Well, it sounds like we can have a competition then for that title.
My mom wants me to tell the turkey story. I've got lots of turkey stories. Let me tell you. I would say I've got 4 or 5 high quality turkey stories. So let me just tell them the story my mom wants to tell. It involves, okay, let me preface this with, we try to be extremely ethical with what we do at this point in our careers, and we don't go into places where we don't have permission. But there was a time in which we weren't always quite as ethical as what we are. So I was in college and I had 1 weekend to shoot a turkey. And I was in college. My college was about 3 hours away from my hometown. And so I went home and I went out with my dad, and I got 1 weekend to get it. And so we're driving around in my dad's vehicle, and we see all these turkeys right by this old pasture road. It wasn't actually like a county road, it was like a farmer's road, basically. Well, my dad had already asked for permission on this place. I can't believe I'm telling the story. We don't do anything like this anymore. This was back, I was like 19 at the time. Now, why my dad chose to do this, you guys can take that up with him. My excuse is I was 19. Well, my dad had already been chewed out by this farmer for going down there and looking and scouting for birds and everything. And the farmer got really, really aggressive with my dad about it. I don't think my dad was actually like on the land poaching. He was like drove down this road and was like looking at birds. And this farmer came and just chewed him out, went off on him. So we were driving around and we looked down this little old farm road, and we see a whole flock of turkeys there. And so, I'm 19. I'm always trying to tell my dad, I'm like, come on, let's do it. Let's go. We can do it. So my idea is, we're going to roll up in the truck. He had like an Isuzu Trooper. I was going to jump out, wielding my shotgun, and just start blazing away. That was the master plan here. So my dad goes flying down this road, hits on the brakes. I jump out. All these turkeys start flushing, and I drop one. And I'm running after it to get it. I trip over some corn and fall down head first. And so my dad comes around the other side. He runs out and gets this thing. Both of us are scared because this farmer's already completely gone off on my dad about being down here. So we run back to the Isuzu Trooper. My dad opens up the back of the truck and throws this turkey in there, and we jump back in. Now, my mom was actually with us on this hunt. She used to go on some of turkey hunts and dove hunts. She used to dove hunt. She was a pretty good shot. So my mom's in the back, in the middle section of the Isuzu Trooper. My dad and I are in the front two places, and the turkey's in the far back section of this like SUV. And so we're like, my dad's like, come on, let's get in here. Let's go. So we jump in this thing, and my dad like just slams the gas, and we're just hauling out of there to make sure that this farmer didn't just go off. And all of a sudden we get about a mile down, and my dad's still like flying. And my mom's like, Carl, I think this turkey's alive. She's like, I think this turkey's alive. And my dad's not slowing down because he's already been chewed out by this guy. So he's just hauling down the road. Next thing you know, this turkey comes full on to life. And it's trying to fly inside of the trooper. It's like hitting the top. It's like going up and down. It's going nuts. So my mom was like right back by this thing. It was like right behind her. She literally dives out of the back seat. Her head goes on the floorboard in between my legs. My dad then slammed on the brakes. He got around the back, and he reached in there. I was looking through the side view mirror, and he was just fighting this turkey on the side of the road. He had it by his neck, and he finally got his neck snapped, but his arms were all cut up and bleeding and everything. And it was only an 8-pound turkey. Had that been like a 15-pound turkey, I think he probably would have lost.
Oh wow.
That's one of the big turkey stories. That's the one my mom wanted to tell. That's probably the best turkey story. I've got lots of others, but
Nice. We're getting a little echo now.
I don't hear it. Is it from me or you?
I believe it's from you. It's gone now.
Okay. It seems like with that system you got, that pops in and out.
I
I think we should close it at 7.
Okay.
I mean, do you think that'd be acceptable?
Sure.
That's an all-on hour.
Yeah.
Have you heard anything else at all?
Not for a little bit. So yeah, we'll just close it at 7. Yeah, sorry guys. We tried to get him in here, but I don't know exactly what happened, but didn't happen.
I'm willing to do what you. I'm willing to do what you want to do. 10 minutes and an hour are two different things.
Yeah. Let's just give him like 10 minutes from now. If he shows up, we'll go with the interview. If not, we won't. So
we can keep talking turkey hunt. It's a good topic.
Yeah, I actually got one other thing I want to talk about too. So anyways, we made a Facebook group for the podcast guys, and so that group is actually listed in the description down below. But we're just going to use it to continue the conversation afterwards. And so we can still communicate with you guys, do stuff with the podcast. So one feature that one segment that we're gonna have on the podcast is we're gonna share community pictures from the week. So I got one I'm gonna show you guys here in a second from Chance. And so if you guys go on there, join the group, and submit your pictures, we'll feature them on our live stream podcast each week.
And it's called Fellowship of the Duck Gun, right?
Yeah, Fellowship of the Duck Guns. And it's listed in the description down below. It's a private group. We're going to keep the haters out, but we want, the guys that, are passionate about waterfowl and, are going to keep it clean and keep it cool in our community.
Yeah, so that's kind of we've never actually talked about our goals with Duck Gun Podcast, Jordan. I think that's a conversation we probably have. But here's kind of what I assume our goals are, and you can comment and tell me what you think. We're trying to build a community here that listens to the podcast, comes to the live streams, and very much interact on Facebook. So we're just trying to build as big a community as we can. We're going to be very heavily invested and interactive with it. And hopefully we can have just a little side group of guys that are interested in the same type of thing, and we can share pictures, talk, chat, and those kind of things, right?
Yep, yeah, I agree with that for sure. So I'm gonna go ahead and oops, the wrong button. Switch screens and so here's the first edition we got of it, and this is Chance. He's got a hybrid. It's a hybrid pintail mallard. Pretty sweet. He shot it out of South Carolina. I don't know if you're still in the chat here. Ash, can you let us know if that was South or North Carolina? I think it was North Carolina, but pretty sweet duck. Talking about hybrids, definitely on my list of ducks that I hope to shoot someday. Pintail mallard hybrid.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That is so unique looking, isn't it? Because it almost has a pin and kind of a curl.
Yeah, it's like half and half, like a hybrid.
That's a duck of a lifetime.
Yeah,
he's
young,
man. He to be getting something like that at that age. You're living a charmed life.
Yep, for sure.
He's got to mount that.
Yeah, I don't know if he did or not. I'll have to ask him again. But yeah, so guys, if
you have a Facebook account, get on over there and find Fellowship the Duck Gun and start posting pictures. And every single Tuesday at 6:00, we're going to be doing these. And so is this a segment we're going to be doing where we show these?
Yeah, we're going to add it in. Usually we'll have a more kind of set standard, outline of how the podcast is going to go with an interview, and then we'll have segments in between. And this is one of the segments we're going to do weekly. So, if we get a lot of submissions, I can't guarantee that we're going to use all of them, but, we'll use, the coolest and the best pictures. So, put your best pictures from the season. And we've got a lot of ideas that we can use from the Facebook group, but, we're just trying to, find a way to incorporate the community of guys. We know we got a cool group of guys here in the chat. Sharing your content as well.
Cool. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Double S, I saw that you said earlier. Back to the turkeys. The reason I'm not using a slate or a box call is just with the bow hunting. I figured it'll be easier to be hands free with the mouth call, since you need both hands on your bow, kind of to draw it back, and you might need to call at the same time if you're solo hunting. If you got somebody with you, then yeah, go ahead and do that. But that was just my thought process, and I'll just figure that out as well.
I don't know what that even means.
I think she must be referring. I said guys. I don't know if that's like a northern thing, but guys. When I say guys, I just mean people in general.
Yeah,
not like
gender neutral.
guys and gals.
Z and Zer. Z's and Zers. Any Z's and Zers out there? I don't know.
Uh,
I don't know if I can get that reference or not, but so Fumblemitz and I, um, turkey hunting with bows was our passion for about 3 years when I was in high school, and I never killed one with a bow. So it's just right now, but it was our passion for a while, and he killed several. I was using a compound bow with no sights, and he was using a recurve with no sights. So in our defense, that makes that's a game changer when you're not using sights.
how many turkeys did you wound without a sight, man?
Three. There was this one time I was 16 or 17, and we're in this. Now in Kansas, you get at Western Kansas, there's hardly any trees except for right around the creeks and the rivers, and then you have hedgerows that they planted the trees after the Dust Bowl to kind of prevent that kind of thing. So we were around a river, and the turkeys go out into the feed fields, and then they'll come back into the trees. So they were out there at yards. It might have been farther than that. Dad, correct me if I'm wrong. I think 7 for my dad. You did not kill 7 turkeys with a bow. Anyway, I don't know if that's what he's talking about, but I can promise you he did not kill 7 turkeys with a bow. He must be talking about something else, either that or lying. But so there was these turkeys out about 35 to 50 yards.
You don't know how many.
I convinced him to allow me just to loft an arrow up into this flock, right? So I lofted an arrow up into this flock, and I hit one like right in the butt. So the whole flock started running, and there was one turkey in front of it. It was like running twice as fast as everything else with this arrow hanging out of its ass as it went. Never found that one.
Nice.
Never. But my dad did shoot a couple. His claim to fame shot was he came down into a creek bed, and he saw a turkey stand there about 20 yards. He shoots at it, but his shot was totally off the mark, ricocheted off some rocks in the creek bed and up through the turkey's neck.
Wait. How's that happen?
I don't know. I was hitting birds smack on, and I would hear and nothing. He was ricocheting it off the rocks through their necks and
trick shots.
He had another one with a bow that he caught its eye with the arrow and took the eye out, and so the thing was so disorientated, it went up about 35 yards, came back down and landed, and it was just like, and then he did shoot it on the ground on the second one, but he couldn't. He went and the only thing he could figure out was that he had barely caught the eye with the arrow on the first shot.
Wow.
But you're off. I mean, to hit the eye, how far? You're way off target.
Yeah, that's a little off there.
So
we got Chance back here again. He's saying that he shot it in Waverly, Kansas. That's not too far from you, is it?
No, it's not.
So you could have shot that.
Yeah, Chance and I believe, correct me if I'm mistaken, Chance, I think we talked about that area. I used to hunt a bunch around Waverly in college.
Yeah, and he said he has it at the taxidermy, so that's good. Yeah, you probably have to wait, a year or two. From what I've heard with taxidermies, they're not too timely on getting birds back to you. And
make sure that if you're going to do it, that you get a good one, because my dad had a golden eye done. You have to use the neck inserts on taxidermy is really important, because different ducks have different size necks, like a pintail neck versus very long compared to like a ring neck or something. But they used totally the wrong one on this goldeneye that my dad had mounted, because it looks like goldeneye and then it's like neck is completely stretched. It is the worst mount ever. So if you're going to get a bird mounted, you need to get a quality guy, because they can really screw it up.
Yeah. I've never had it done, so I can't speak on that, but yeah, definitely want to get one done, and I'll make sure to get a good one. Don't want any.
I think you should spend $400 to $500 on a mount if you want to make sure and get it.
Oh wow!
I mean, you can get it done for $250, $350, but I mean, if you're going to have this thing for the next 20 years, you want it to look good. So I would definitely say research the person, see their work at least. Don't just find some guy and send it to them.
Yep. Well, I think we might, I think that was the last call for getting Duck Doctor on here. I think his baseball practice must have ran late, but
What's that?
yep, something along those lines. So yeah,
I enjoyed it though. It's funny because I'm on spring break, so I'm taking a nap and I wake up, I'm like, I don't feel like it. Once we get rolling, I really enjoy it.
yeah. I enjoy talking about ducks anytime, off season. Keep the duck depression off a little bit.
For the first time, the duck depression hit me the other day. I don't know what I was doing, but it hit me. I was like, oh man. Aiden came over. Aiden went out snow goose hunting again and shot 4. And he was doing something. He was over here, and I was helping him. I was helping him load a kayak he was borrowing on his car, and man, it just like hit me in the face. I was like, oh man.
Yeah,
I miss it.
Yeah, I get like that. I think like the first weekend that you can't duck hunt anymore, I'm like, well, it's Saturday. What am I doing?
Yeah. But I am enjoying the extra time and the sleeping in. I slept until like 10 the other day, and that never ever happens. Well, I mean, other than that day.
Oh yeah, that's true. But I kind of get when the season's rolling, I just kind of get used to waking up at 5 o'clock. But it's hard to stay on that same time schedule off season for sure.
We get up many days on Saturday though. We get up in the 2s, and every now and then in the 1s. That's a whole different deal than getting up in the 4s.
Yeah, for sure.
It'll wreck your whole day. Your day, if you get up, if we get up like at 2:15, which is a very common time for us to get up, you don't have much left when you get back.
Yeah. I guess we can pull that that straw poll. I'll go ahead and post that one more time, guys. Go ahead and vote on the straw poll one more time, and we'll see what the results are. So we got 7 votes, guys. There's how many of us in here? So go ahead and vote on that straw poll real quick, and we'll guys get your input. If you guys don't remember the question, it's would you guys group shoot to shoot a hybrid? You got an extra bag limit in the group, and yeah, yes or no. Pretty simple.
Yep.
Looks. I'll just go ahead and pull that over here.
I had a dream last night. I had to put Izzy to sleep. That killed me. I was bawling in my dream.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's not a good dream.
I gave her the shot myself in my dream, and I know my wife and I talk. You should never tell about a dream because no one cares about your dreams. But I gave her the shot myself, and then when I gave it, I realized that she still had a couple years left in her. And
oh wow.
I just like left. I was like, I don't want to see this. I left, which is terrible. And somehow I was hoping that she would still not die from that initial shot, and I was bawling. It was terrible. Oh, it was terrible. But I've been petting her a lot today.
There you go. Ash said that it. Ash, do you go by Chance or Ash? I don't know. But he said his bill on that is $580. Yeah, that is a steep price. But like Elliot was saying, that's a once in a lifetime bird. So I definitely go with that.
Yep.
Speaking of likes, I saw Michael say, everybody hit that like button. Appreciate that. Guys, hit that like button. And I'm going to, sell my dog out for treats. If we get to 20, I'm going to give this treat to Chief right here. Come here, buddy.
Oh, man. What an incentive.
Sorry, Chief. You can't have it yet.
He's all mad. Izzy's sitting all here mad. She's not getting a treat. Give me a treat to give Izzy. Hey, give me a treat to give Izzy.
Yeah, I got you one. Here you go.
So Izzy's main food is called Scoopies, and then anything. Oh yeah, I'll take that. And I just said Scoopies and she's off running. That's her meals. So I've started this new thing. Give me like a little piece of bread or something, or just a handful of her food. And at night, if I can't get her to come back and take her out, I do snackies, and she gets 1 peanut.
Oh wow!
And oh man, she's so pumped about that 1 peanut. I've gotten really lazy with my enforcement of calling her and making her come back because, well, my dad taught me, and water dog book as well. It's like, don't ever call your dog if you think there's a chance your dog's not going to actually respond and do what you say. Come here, Iz. Because you're just, come get it. Come on, come on up. Come on, come here. She's so trained not to get. Come here, come get it. Come on up. Come on. There she is. Well, you gotta come over here where people can see you. There she is.
What's
She's
up?
A fiend for food, that dog. Oh my gosh, that's her whole life.
Man, you gave Izzy the treat before we got to 20, man.
Well, you said it's for champ.
That's not fair. The Chiefs got to wait, but Izzy doesn't.
Oh, Izzy's a lot older.
That's true. This is what I use. I use these dentist sticks because Chief's breath is terrible. So he doesn't get real treats, but he likes them just as well.
Izzy's breath's okay, but her farts are terrible.
So we got a dog question. Do you keep your dog outside during the off season and inside, or opposite way around? Off season, inside during the off season, and outside during the season to condition them to the cold. I know you're saying that you do that. I just keep my. What was that?
I said in theory I do that. What do you do? I'll give my thoughts on that. What do you do?
For me, I leave him outside in the evening all the time. But he comes in, to hang out with me when I'm like editing videos and stuff like that. Sits here in his dog blind and waits for treats.
And you can see that coat on him. He's got a nice coat. I don't have a fenced in backyard. It's actually fenced in except for this one little section that would only take, it would only take me about 300 to do it, but it's on a little bit of an incline, so it would be tough. So I can't just let her outside. I do have a back porch that she sits in. So my idea, what I plan on doing every year, is as the temperature starts dropping, then during the day when I'm at work, leaving her outside so that she's just spending almost from 7 o'clock until 4 o'clock. She's outside every single day. But inevitably, I don't do a good enough job with that. Her coat is insufficient. So that's why I put like a 15-degree limit on her. I mean, with Chance, if you're doing it right, there's no limit you need to put on a dog as far as cold.
Yeah, my dog went out when we had the negative 18-degree wind chill, and he did fine. Well, he got the timber tail, but that was because we hunted multiple days in a row. All right. Sorry, guys. We didn't get to 20, but Chief's getting the treat anyway. Here, you get 2, buddy. Good boy.
A good budget duck hunting gun, Mossberg 500. I used that gun for 20, 25 years, Baxley. Mossberg 500. I love it. Love that gun. You can just get it in like a pale, I had like a pale green, gray. I love that gun.
Got a message from somebody saying they'll be home in 20 minutes.
No.
Okay. I agree. Yeah. All right. Well, you got anything else you want to talk about tonight? Or yeah,
well,
you're good to
wound down.
Yep. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Don't forget, guys, Fellowship of Duck Gun at Facebook, and sign up for that now, and also Duck Gun Chronicles. If you're not a subscriber over there, go hit that too.
Yep, we'll be going live next week. And for anybody who wasn't here at the beginning, we'll just kind of go through the spiel again. We're doing the podcast weekly, every Tuesday, 7 Eastern and 6 Central. And we'll be switching channels back and forth. We got guests lined up, all the way through May. We'll be doing podcasts, just the 2 of us, kind of hanging out with you guys. If we know we're not going to have a guest, we'll be more prepared with, at least some kind of information, some tips and strategies, something along those lines. So, yeah.
Thank you guys for joining us. Appreciate it.
Yep. All right, guys. That's all we got. We'll see you guys next time.